Hey Trailblazers, welcome back to another week here. I'm so excited that you're joining us again. If you are following along with our series, we are in week 4. This is the 4th video on the book of Thessalonians, and so we're going to be in chapter 4. We're talking about feelings this morning, so if you have a pen or pencil and you want to write down anything or draw a picture as we're going along, feel free to do that. And if you've missed any of the other episodes, have your parents like and subscribe to our page, or you can do it if you know how to do that, because we want to make sure that you're catching up on all the content, all of these videos that we're making specifically for you. So let's run the bumper, and then I got a story for you. Here we go. Welcome back. We are super excited to be jumping into Thessalonians chapter 4. I am going to read just a couple of verses from Thessalonians chapter 4, and then I'm going to tell you a story that's very important to me from my life. I'm starting at verse 13 of chapter 4, and in my Bible it says the hope of the resurrection. Chapter 4, verse 13 starts this way. Now, dear brothers and sisters, we want you to know what will happen to our believers who have died, so that you will not grieve like people who have no hope. For since we believe that Jesus died and was raised to life again, we also believe that when Jesus returns, God will bring back with him believers who have died. We tell you this directly from the Lord. We who are still living when the Lord returns will not meet him ahead of those who have died. I know that for many of you, death is something that you're not thinking about yet, and that's good. But when I was your age, death was something that was actually very close to me, because I had grandparents who died when I was just a little bit older, or a little bit younger rather, than you are now. I remember when that happened, when we had the funeral or the memorial service, and maybe you have been to a memorial service or a funeral already, or maybe you haven't. I remember feeling very scared. I was very nervous about the entire thing. I understood in the way that at the time I was 6 years old, a 6-year-old could understand what it meant for someone to die. But I had all of these other emotions and feelings that were wrapped up in that experience. When we're little, or even when we're a little bit older, like grade school, as you guys are, a lot of times our feelings can overwhelm us, and that is just a part of growing up. The problem is today, there are so many ways that we can avoid those feelings. And I say that that's a problem because when we don't feel fully, we don't get the full experience of life. But here's the good news. Because we are Christians, or because of the good news about Jesus, there is hope within our challenging feelings. We can know that God is with us in our feelings, and it makes them a little bit less scary. Now, I could tell you about heaven, and I could tell you about resurrection and all of these big and kind of large-scale things, and maybe you know about those things already, or maybe you don't. But I want to give you something that's even simpler than that. Something that someone told me when I was going through the big emotions of my childhood. They told me that you never have to be afraid of anything that you're feeling, because anything that you're feeling, God is with you. So when you're mad, God is with you. When you're frustrated, God is with you. When you're sad or grieving, God is with you. That's what the verse is about. It says that we don't have to worry, because we are with God in our grief. We don't have to grieve like people who don't know God, because we do know God. This is the good news that we have been given through the book of Thessalonians, through the epistle. I know I've been using that word a lot, the letter to the people in Thessalonica. That's what Paul wanted them to know, that God would be with them even in hard, challenging feelings. And so I'm going to encourage you this week. When you're having a challenging feeling, don't run away from it. Lean into it. Feel fully. God gives us our feelings. Our feelings are part of our bodies, and they are good for us to experience. We shouldn't feel bad about feeling any certain way, because God has put those feelings in our lives as alarm bells to let us know when something might not be right. So instead of being scared of your feelings or running away from your feelings, I'm going to encourage you something that even grown-ups, perhaps grown-ups have an even harder time doing than you. I want you to lean into your feelings. Allow yourself to feel them, even if it's not something as big as what I explained. And know that in the middle of that, God can be with you in those feelings. You don't have to worry about it. They will not overwhelm you because God is with you. And a lot of times, we need grown-ups too. They can help us to navigate those feelings and help us to find God in the midst. So if you ever need help, please let us know at church or ask your parents. Hey, this is a big and challenging feeling that I've been having. I don't want to run away from it. I want to experience it, but I want to do it with God by my side. So here's your activity for this week. Here's your call, your mission. Because we are people who experience feelings, because we are people who are not afraid of our feelings, we lean into those feelings knowing that God is with us in those feelings. I want you to make a list of feelings that you're having. It may be really simple, but every time you think of it, I want you to write down somewhere, I'm feeling mad, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling happy, or I'm feeling joyful. Or maybe there's so many more words that you can use to describe your feelings. But whatever your feelings are, write them down, keep track of them. And each time, I'm feeling this, and God is with me. Got that? I'm feeling mad, and God is with me. I'm feeling happy, and God is with me. Whatever your feelings, write them down, and then write, and God is with me. Got that? All right. I'm going to read your verse of the week for you to memorize. And then I'll let you go. See you next week. Here's your verse. It's verse 13. Now, dear brothers and sisters, we want you to know what will happen to the believers who have died, so that you will not grieve like people who have no hope. See you next week, guys.